All of us women here have children, and we know that without them, our lives wouldn't be the same. We personally wouldn't be the same. I personally cannot envision my life without my two little blessings. This is Cadence, and here's Cammy. These are my girls. Now, as tough as it is, sometimes raising them has changed me in so many positive ways. Now, here is a picture of me when I have the girls. You can see they're so tiny and cute. Now, for those of you that have not yet experienced having a child of your own, I hope that one day you're given that chance because children are such a blessing. And if you're one of the women that chooses not to reproduce, then I hope that you take precautions while having intercourse. Because if there's one thing that bothers me, it's women that refuse to deal with the consequences of their actions. And I know from experience, children are not a consequence. The morning after pill is a combination of ethinyl estradiol and evonorgestrel. Both are forms of estrogen and progesterone, the same ingredients that are used in birth control pills. You're essentially taking a concentrated birth control pill. Now, the first pill is taken 72 hours within 72 hours of unprotected sex, and the second dose is taken within 12 hours of the first dose. Now, according to the Planned Parenthood website, the pill can work in one of four ways. It could either change your normal menstrual cycle and delay your ovulation. Your ovulation could be inhibited, meaning that the egg will not be released from your ovaries. It can irritate the lining of the uterus, which inhibits implantation. And lastly, it could also possibly stop an already fertilized egg from attaching to the uterus. Most women and young ladies over the age of 18 can find this pill at Walgreens or at CVS pharmacies, or they can go to walk-in clinics, or sometimes they call the emergency contraception hotline, and the cost usually ranges between $10 and $70. But for girls that are under the age of 17, the reason that it is more expensive is because they have to go to the doctors, plus they have to pay for their prescription. So it's the doctor's bill plus the prescription cost. That's why it's more expensive for those that are underage. Now, the reasons that I think this pill should be banned are quite simple. Firstly, it's unnecessary. Why? 78% of the time, the woman was not fertile to begin with. So that leaves the pill with only a 22% success rate. Now, a woman ovulates approximately every 28 days, once every 28 days. Therefore, the chance that the woman will ovulate on any randomly selected day is 3.57%. There are also side effects. Nausea and vomiting are the most common, but others include breast tenderness, irregular bleeding, dizziness, and headaches. Now, lastly, the Pro-Life America, Pro-Life Wisconsin, and also an article that I found on Fox News all concluded that the morning after pill is an abortifacient. An abortifacient is a complex term that refers to a substance, chemical, or natural that creates an abortion. Now, when a woman ovulates, the egg is able to be fertilized, and that fertilization can occur in as little as 3 hours after unprotected sex. It takes emergency contraception from 12 to 24 hours to be effective. Therefore, by the time you take the morning after pill, your unborn child's hair color, eye color, and genetic code could already be determined. Now, I would like to address some of the comments left for me on SurveyMonkey. Everyone had agreed, 100% of the people that took my survey, they all agreed that everyone is responsible for his or her own actions. Now, if you believe this, then how can you justify taking the morning after pill and not owning up to your responsibilities? If you think that you're responsible enough to have sex, then you need to be responsible enough to deal with the consequences. And again, I am not saying that a child is a consequence, but I'm merely asking you to step up to the plate and do the right thing. I also asked, excuse me, I also asked if anyone had taken the pill themselves or if they would refer it to a friend, and there are two comments that I received that I would like to read and respond to. Now, one of the comments was, Yes, like it or not, this country does not need any more unwanted or unplanned children. It's a plague. I also find it silly that it would cost more for someone underage to get this pill. I mean, if any group that you would want a pregnancy stopped, I would think it would be minors. Now, I already addressed the fact that underage girls need a prescription to obtain the morning after pill, plus their doctor's visit, and so that's where the cost comes from. But for your information, none of these children are unwanted, as you have said. There are millions of couples looking to adopt these beautiful little babies. Now, if the pregnant woman is able to be unselfish for 9 months, she could answer someone else's prayers. Because if she doesn't want that child, somebody else does, and somebody else will take care of it. Another comment that I received was, the morning after pill is not an abortion pill. Every woman has to make her own decision about this, and it is not my place to decide what someone should do. We don't have the facts about everyone's lives. It's time we stop judging and telling people what to do. I have never taken the pill, but if someone else decides it is right for them, then who are we to tell them otherwise? Well, I do agree that we don't have the facts about everyone's lives, but I do know that the safest way to prevent pregnancy is abstinence. Now, if you choose to not be abstinent, you run the risk of getting pregnant. I also understand that some of these women are raped and molested, and it's sad, and I do not wish that upon anybody. But if you're willing to carry that child for 9 months, you can give up the baby for adoption once it's born. Or who knows? You could change your mind and decide to keep the child. And why would you want to? Why would you want to keep a child not made out of love after such a traumatic event? Because like it or not, that baby is still part of you. And you can grow to love the baby like it deserves to be loved. Now to the same person. You also said that the morning after pill is not an abortion pill. Well, guess what? If it's just a cell the day after sex, when do you think it becomes a person? It's still a bunch of cells 15 weeks later, too. So just because it doesn't look like a baby at first, it is. Now I want to thank you guys for taking the time to join me as I spoke about something near and dear to my heart. I hope that all of you have learned something from what I have said. I also hope that should you become face to face with an ordeal such as this, I hope that you choose to do the right thing, and that is life.